Blaring Out Show.
Lisa Ling, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, a little nervous, but I'm doing well.
But you have been on The View, you've done everything. You're one of the most famous journalists in the world.
No, hardly. I still get nervous before these things, though.
You actually dated Prince for 5 minutes.
We went on a couple of dates. It was exciting.
To be able to say that is huge. His legacy is beyond reality.
Well, it was such a pleasure to get to know him, even for the brief time that I did. I mean, he is truly one of the most remarkable geniuses to have ever graced the earth.
Apparently, you had some long conversations because he was a gentleman. And so you guys would talk till like 2 in the morning, 5 in the morning. What? I am just wondering what he shared with you.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it was so long ago. We talked about so many things. He was a Jehovah's Witness at the time. So many of our conversations kind of centered around faith. And quite honestly, I have known very few Jehovah's Witnesses throughout my life. So I found his perspective interesting. Let's say we had a few debates.
Who can say that they've had religious debates with Prince?
I seem to get into religious debates with a lot of people. In fact, I'll be talking about faith a little bit tonight.
What inspired you about Homeboy Industries?
Everything inspires me about Homeboy Industries. One of the only organizations I know of that takes on the people who society has really rejected, the most marginalized, the miscreants, the outlaws, the outcasts, and just offers them unconditional love. Whether they mess up or are able to walk that path, their door is always open, and it's an extraordinary group of people led by someone for whom I have the most massive respect, Father Greg Boyle.
Would you say that Homeboy Industries is in the business of doing miracles?
I absolutely believe that Homeboy Industries performs miracles. And, these days I think love is increasingly hard to find. And just by offering unconditional love, I think that the people who are on the receiving end of that really believe that that's a miracle because they have never really experienced that kind of love before.
Lisa Ling, what are your makeup must-haves and name them?
I don't like to wear a lot of makeup.
You don't need to wear a lot of makeup because you're beautiful.
I usually get my makeup done. When I have to do it myself, I can. But I do have some must-haves. A NARS nude lip color. I wear a Yensa cream rouge. And I use an Orsay foundation that I mix with some sunblock. ORCE with a hyphen.
Powder.
I don't use powder.
Eyeshadow.
Some NARS colors. I don't know what they are. I have a drawer filled with makeup that I don't really scrutinize too much.
Concealer.
I don't use concealer.
You're stuck on a desert island. You can only take 5 albums with you. What are they going to be?
Purple Rain would be chief among them. Can I say 4 Duran Duran albums and Purple Rain? Okay.
I'm the Duran Duran guy.
I'm a diehard Duranie. Again, these days I've been sort of like feeling a lot of nostalgia, and they just bring me back. And John Taylor is my first love, so whether he knows it or not.
Did you ever interview John Taylor?
I never interviewed him. Just finally met John Taylor for the first time at the Baby to Baby Gala.
What did you say to him?
I'm rarely at a total loss for words, but I certainly was at that moment.
People are just starting to find out what an integral part of Duran Duran's sound he is. He is an amazing, underrated bass player.
I actually had no idea how involved he was in the songwriting process. I really had no idea until fairly recently. I just had a crush on him. I just had a teen, he was just like my teenage fantasy.
The bass line on Rio is legendary.
Absolutely. These are all truly skilled musicians, and I'm really excited that they're having a comeback.
It's the highlight of your time on The View.
The highlight was definitely being able to work alongside Barbara Walters. I mean, she could definitely be tough on us, but I learned so much from her. She left me with some insights that I'll never forget.
Any advice she gave you?
I was always so eager to ask her advice about how she got the interview with Fidel Castro, and she was emphatic about telling me to not neglect my personal life, because I think that she felt like she did in her efforts to, climb that ladder. I mean, she was one of the only women, she was really the only woman who had achieved that level of success in the world of journalism, and she had to make so many sacrifices along the way.
Your favorite interview?
To be honest with you, my favorite interviews are really with everyday people. I honestly could care less about celebrities. I like being immersed among people whose lives are very different from mine, which is also why I love spending time at Homeboy.
What's next for Lisa Ling?
Well, my show just ended on CNN, This Is Life, after 9 seasons. So I'm working on a couple of projects that I can't talk about at the moment.
God bless you, sister.
The Blaring Out Show.